So recently, we've been focusing on Florida quite a bit. We're waiting to see when Donald Trump will be indicted for stealing classified materials from the government and unlawfully concealing them at his Florida home, Mar-a-Lago. But whereas we've been talking a lot about Florida in recent days, I've got Georgia on my mind. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So prosecutorial fearlessness and determination is a beautiful thing. And yes, I'm talking about Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, because she has been setting up and knocking down these privileged, sniveling little men. Let's start with Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani desperately did not want to have to testify to a Georgia grand jury about Donald Trump's Georgia state election crimes. But here's the reporting. Judge orders Giuliani to testify to Georgia grand jury, suggests he take a train or bus or an Uber if he can't fly. Now, Rudy has testified to that Georgia grand jury. There's been no reporting on whether he in fact took a train. If he did, whether that train was leaving for Georgia at midnight. So many great songs to choose from. And Fani Willis then turned her attention to Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham desperately did not want to testify about Donald Trump's Georgia state election crimes, but here's a headline from CNN. First, Senator Graham tells judge that grand jury should not be allowed to question him on any topics laid out in subpoena. And then we quickly learned this from CBS News. Lindsey Graham must testify before Georgia grand jury investigating Trump. Judge rules. Now, after that judge ruled that Lindsey must testify, he appealed it up to the 11th Circuit. The 11th Circuit then remanded it, sent it back to the trial court judge for some additional findings. But mark my words, friends, Lindsey Graham will testify before the grand jury. He'll keep playing this delay game, but at the end of the day, he will run out of rope, he will lose, he will go into the grand jury, and then I'm quite sure his lawyers will advise him to plead the Fifth, invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Why? Because his fellow Republican, Georgia Secretary of State Brian Kemp, said when Lindsey called me on the phone, he was, quote, urging me to toss out lawfully cast ballots. Yeah, so Lindsey has got a world of hurt coming to him, but he will go into the grand jury, I predict. Now, DA Fani Willis has her sights set on the testimony of Governor Brian Kemp. This headline from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution: Kemp prosecutors take subpoenaed dispute to Fulton courtroom. And that article begins, a Fulton County judge today will hear arguments. This article is from yesterday, so the judge already heard these arguments about whether Governor Brian Kemp should be compelled to testify before the special purpose grand jury examining potential criminal interference in Georgia's 2020 elections. And get this, friends, Kemp is arguing sovereign immunity, executive privilege, attorney-client privilege, and proximity to the November elections, all as reasons why the governor shouldn't have to testify before the 23-person grand jury. Let me just stop there for a minute, friends. When you go into court and you argue in the alternative, that's what we lawyers call it, when you throw everything against the wall hoping something will stick, you know what typically ends up happening? Nothing sticks. So when I read that Governor Kemp is saying, executive privilege. Oh, no. Sovereign immunity. Oh, wait. Attorney-client privilege. Oh, wait. It's too close in time to the upcoming elections, Judge. Please, anything. What that reminded me of is when I was a homicide prosecutor at the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office, and defendants would try to offer alternative defenses to the jury, just like Kemp did. And here's what they'll do. They'll say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client did not commit the murder with which he is charged. Why? Because he has an alibi. He was across town at the time of the murder, nowhere near the scene. He couldn't have done it, and he didn't do it. And then you know what happened, friends? When the alibi fell apart during the course of the trial, the defense switched tactics. And they said, well, if you don't believe the alibi, well, then sure, my client killed the victim, but he did it in self-defense. You know, pleading in the alternative, arguing in the alternative, throwing everything against the wall to see if something will stick, usually results in nothing sticking. So I predict Governor Brian Kemp will be compelled to testify before the Georgia state grand jury investigating Donald Trump's election crimes. One more. Fani Willis now has her sights set on Mark Meadows. Headline from CNN, Georgia District Attorney investigating Trump calls for Mark Meadows to testify before special grand jury. And once again, I'm going to go out on a limb and say District Attorney Willis will be successful in compelling the testimony of Mark Meadows. As I say, she is setting up and knocking down these small, sniveling men of privilege. And prosecutorial bravery and fearlessness and determination to get to the bottom of Donald Trump's crimes is a beautiful thing. Because justice matters. Friends, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.